Welcome to the Normandy, Jack. I'm Miranda, Shepard's second in command. On this ship, we follow orders.
Tell the Cerberus cheerleader to back off, Shepard. I'm here because of our deal.
We can either wait for the files, and my guess is that's going to be a very long wait that never actually ends in her receiving said files, or we can perhaps make Miranda a little displeased with us and go ahead and give her those files. Let's go for it. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Miranda will let you into the system. Let me know what you find.
Hear that, Precious? We're going to be friends. You, me, and every embarrassing little secret. I'll be reading down in the hold, or somewhere near the bottom. I don't like a lot of through traffic. Keep your people off me. Better that way.
Miranda just shakes her head. Alright, so, there we see the update for all the stuff that we picked up over the course of that mission, including some pretty important things, as we were just saying. And, of course, top of that list is that we have now picked up a new teammate, Jack. So, let's get out of this room here, and try to reorient ourselves for a minute here. So, we did pick up some additional upgrades that we can potentially research, so we'll look at those in just a minute, I think. But, most importantly, if we have any emails.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Thank you, Kelly. But also, just wanted to take a quick look at, well, Jack, our newest teammate. So, loyalty, normal, but she has Shockwave, Pull, and Warp Ammo as her 3 abilities. Remember, her description was that she is the strongest known human biotic. So, definitely going to be biotically focused with her abilities. However, worth noting that you see Shockwave and Pull are actually both abilities that we have access to for Shepard. So, in some ways, it's a little unfortunate in that, in many ways, Jack does the same types of things that we do ourselves, so it's going to be a little bit of a hard fit to work her into some missions, unless we want to double down on Pull or Shockwave. But for the most part, the times when we're going to want to use her is probably to use her Warp Ammo, because that is something that we do not have access to. So, other than that, she has heavy pistols and shotguns, so despite being a biotic specialist, does actually have access to pretty solid type of weapons and shotguns, so provides a little bit of additional combat abilities in that sense as well. Other than that, let's take a look at whatever this unread message or messages are. I thought we already heard from Smash Bhatia, but apparently he is thanking us again. Commander Shepard, Mr. Dina offered to pass on a message for me. I wish to again express my thanks for your assistance in retrieving my wife's body. While nothing can ever banish the pain of losing Nirali, being able to see that her body was treated properly helped me more than you can imagine. I have opened the restaurant that my wife always wished to start back on Earth. Nirali's picture hangs on the wall, and Alliance soldiers eat for free. It is the least I can do to honor the courage with which both you and my wife have served humanity. Sincerely, Smash Bhatia. I am almost certain that is exactly the message that we read before, so I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. You're not dead! From Emily Wong. You're alive? How come you broke whatever cover you've been under for 2 years, but didn't offer an exclusive interview to your favorite reporter? I mean, Emily Wong, to be fair, she definitely is our favorite reporter compared to the other lady that's trying to frame us with her initial interview. Whenever you come up for air and are ready to talk, let me know. Emily Wong. We did actually hear a lot of newscasts from her when we first visited the Citadel, and perhaps we can find her in the Citadel on a future visit. We'll have to see. Alright, but, see, anything else we should know about Kelly?
Tattoos are beautiful. As colorful as her past, I'm sure. I have concerns with her temper, though.
I mean, it does seem like she has a bit of a temper. You're not wrong about that.
You have worries about Jack?
I know she'll be solid under fire, but her attitude suggests deep personal issues. She pushes people away, yet approaches sex casually. I don't think she understands her own motivations. I wouldn't be surprised if she makes advances on you. If you want her respect, think twice.
Okay, we'll be careful.
I'll do my best not to piss her off.
Please warn me if you fail. I want a chance to hide. How may I help you, Commander?
Okay, let's see. Anything else we can chat
You have a
about?
moment to talk?
I always have time for you, Commander.
I think we've already asked you about all that stuff. So,
I better go.
never mind.
Maybe
Although,
we'll talk
hold on just a second. Because that does
may I
end the
help you,
conversation,
Commander?
even though we did not get the chance to ask more generally about the crew.
Is there anything I should know?
later. Nothing right now. Anything
Okay.
else, Commander?
That'll
Now
be
we're
all.
good in that
I'll
case.
be here if you need anything.
Okay. So, why don't we make a point of checking in on Jack? And of course, remember, as we are looking through the various levels of the Normandy, we'll see the little preview here on the right that says who's on which floor. And so we'll find that Jack is in engineering. So let's stop on by over there, pay her a visit. Okay. And I believe she said something along the lines of how she wanted to find a place that is the lowest down possible. So the place you find her is all the way down here.
Hey,
Let's chat.
Tell me about you, Jack.
I'm still finding out about me. Thanks for letting me look at these files.
Well, glad they're helping.
If they're helping you, that's good enough for me.
Don't be my buddy. You need me to kill for you, I need you for these files. Let's leave it there. Your friends at Cerberus are into some nasty things. I'm gonna find something I can use. I just know it.
Okay, yeah, what kind of answers are you looking for?
What if the answers aren't what you expect?
I'm not looking for answers. I'm looking for names, dates, places.
Huh? Okay, not entirely sure what you mean by that. Just information about your past?
What happens when you find what you're looking for?
I go hunting. Anyone who's screwed with me pays. Their associates pay. Their friends pay. The galaxy's gonna be a lot emptier when I'm done.
Oh, well that's kind of dark. So tell me about Cerberus.
What's your history with Cerberus?
They raised me in a research facility. I escaped when I was a kid. Been on the run ever since. And they've been chasing me ever since. But soon, I'm gonna chase them.
Does sound like you're rather excited about chasing these guys down, but, it is a little strange. You're hanging out down here at the bottom of engineering, where it is, not exactly the most homely of places.
You don't have to live in this pit, you know.
It's dark, quiet, and hard to find. That spells safety to me. You know, this ship is a powerhouse. You could go pirate. Live like a king. I could help.
You know, that's not really our style. We've got a pretty important mission we're on right now.
We have to stop the collectors. I don't have time for piracy.
When this is done, we'll either be dead or out here in space with this ship. Think about it. Lots of creds. Freedom to go wherever you want. And all the mayhem and fighting I could want.
I mean, we can already in many cases go more or less wherever we want with this ship. So we've got that going for us, and we don't necessarily need to commit to a life of crime in order to do that. It does really seem like there is one common theme here, though. You really like killing.
What is it about killing that fascinates you so much?
I figure every time someone dies and it's not me, my chances of survival go up. Simple.
Oh. Okay. On that note, we should probably go.
I should go.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. A few more Paragon points as well, and so, well, there's Jack. Again, you can find her at the bottom of the engineering. Over here. Then, we may be able to check and see if there is, anything else. Anyone else on the team. Oh.
Collectors hit the Ferris Fields colony. Everyone's gone.
Shit! We're going to make those dirty buggers pay.
Or action by the collectors. Therefore, more urgency to get our job done here. Let's see, this is Saeed's place. See if he has anything new to say to us.
This mission takes me back.
Hmm?
Jack, Subject Zero, whatever you call her. Hell of a girl. Could have used a destructive little bitch like that 10 years ago when we dropped blind into the Krogan DMZ. Took out a lot of Krogan that day, but we lost way too many men.
Does seem like, you know, Jack would be your type of person, Zaid. No nonsense, just get the job done and, well, kill however many people you need to kill in order to make that happen.
Me and a buddy were hired to take out this one guy, Matthias, I think. Hell, I forget. Turns out it was a trap. We got jumped by a hit squad. 2 Batarians, a Krogan, and a Hanar. Damn jellyfish nearly choked me to death. Wore a neck brace for weeks to cover that up. Haven't underestimated a Hanar since.
Now, that's an interesting one. Remember, the Hanar are, well, the jellyfish-like looking species that we saw in Mass Effect 1 that, well, we've never seen in combat, but, well, apparently they're more than capable of using those tentacles to, choke people, like Saeed.
I should let you go. Talk more later, Shepard.
Alright, so that's everything new from Saeed. See if there's anyone else who wants to chat about anything. I think, for the most part, the rest of the crew is elsewhere, though, not down here in engineering. Let's head back to the elevator and pop on up to the crew quarters. And let's see if there's anyone who has new things to talk with us about here. Of course, Dr. Shockwash is over here, although for the most part, I don't think we're going to get new stuff from her.
How may I help you, Commander?
Think
I'll see you later, Doctor.
nothing
Commander.
new. And nothing else over here either. Other crewmates?
There's something different with tonight's meal. Seems like you put in more food and less ass.
Oh,
Yeah, keep talking.
remember, of course, that we gave Rupert, or Sergeant Gardner, better cooking materials, or ingredients, recently, and so, there's the results right there. The results speak for themselves, currently. Miranda. Well, see, here's the thing. She might not be terribly pleased, given how our previous conversation with her went.
Commander, what can I do for you?
Anything else we can chat with you
minute,
about?
Miranda?
There's a lot to do, Shepard. Maybe another time.
Or maybe
I'll
not,
let you work.
in that case.
Of course, Commander.
Alright. Suppose so. In which case, why don't we head on back up to Combat Information Center, where we'll find some of our other teammates, as well as the research...
No messages for you, Commander.
And no messages. The research facility, which we may need to use, or may want to use, in order to invest in some other upgrades, because we did pick up a few recently, and we've, of course, now got a few more credits to work with, a few more resources as well.
Commander, can I help you with something?
Let's see. Thoughts on the previous mission? You have any comments on Jack?
How are we doing, Jacob? What's your sense of the mission?
If Mordin's modifications hold up, we've got a shot. If they don't, we're dead. Seems like that was always a strong possibility, though. Anything else, Commander?
Maybe more specifically the crew, because I think we have heard that already.
What do you think of the state of the crew?
Well, we don't have a full complement. We don't stand a chance without the right specialists on side. Anything else, Commander?
And then, have we talked to you about Normandy upgrades yet?
Any thoughts on how to prepare against the Collectors?
Like I said, if we don't upgrade the hull on this boat, people will die. I have some Alliance favors I can call in if you have the resources.
Ah, no we have not. So this is new. Let's see. Sounds like a ship enhancement. Let's see. Heavy ship armor. Normandy armor upgrade. The Asari-made Solaris armor upgrade is attached to the ship's superstructure. This will help the ship hold together if hit by a blast powerful enough to penetrate its shields. Now, of course, remember what happened to the first Normandy when we got attacked by Collectors. Well, they basically sheared our hull directly in half, and that caused some problems. That caused some pretty big problems. So, you know, getting some additional ship armor like that when enemies are able to break through our shields sounds like that could be quite useful. And we actually do have enough resources to make this happen right now, so it's something that we definitely will want to do at some point. Probably not urgent just yet. We might want to do something that is more directly affecting our performance in a mission. So, we'll think about it. In fact, well, I mean, we're probably going to head over to our research facility, or research station, after talking with Jacob anyway, although this maybe gave us a little bit of a shortcut. Let's see. Weapon upgrades. We can now purchase that shotgun damage upgrade that we picked up in the previous mission. So, although we picked up basically the schematics for it, the intel for it, but we still need to actually invest in this case the platinum, to see it through from a concept to reality. So it's not that expensive, just 2,500. I think that's definitely worth doing, especially because we are using shotguns as, for the most part, our primary weapon. So I think we go for that. Nice. And we may have additional shotgun upgrades available to us, because remember, there were some things that only become available, or at least you can only actually upgrade them once you have made other upgrades as well. There's sort of like prerequisites for certain upgrades, and that may have been the case for one of our shotgun upgrades. Yes, shotgun shield piercing. I think we needed to get that second shotgun damage upgrade in order to make this possible. Increases damage by 50% against shields and biotic barriers. Improves shotguns, heavy shotguns, and assault shotguns for your entire squad. With the addition of a basic module to the Mass Effect field generator, each slug is encased with a basic envelope before it is fired at a target. This disrupts any Mass Effect field, protecting the target, resulting in superior penetration. Definitely more expensive, but that is huge. 50% damage against shields. Remember, we were talking about previously how shields tend to be one of the types of defenses that we have a little bit more trouble against, because none of our abilities are particularly effective against shields unless we're using a squad mate that can do that, like Saeed, like Miranda. So by having an upgrade like this, that makes us a little bit less reliant on having one of them with us. That's definitely helpful, and it affects everyone on the squad as well. Would take a pretty significant sum of platinum, but that is one of the resources that I think we have the most of at the moment, so I think we still go for it here, because that's going to be a pretty significant improvement. Take a look here, see if there's anything else that looks like it is immediately relevant to us. We do have 10% assault rifle damage, which we did not immediately do because we ourselves cannot use assault rifles. Zaid can. So that is potentially something that, as we're starting to work Saeed into the squad a little bit more, could become more relevant. It's also quite cheap, so might not be a terrible idea to do it for that reason. Well, the other thing is that with that shotgun upgrade, of course, we now have also picked up Jack, who also uses shotguns, so that's just another person to add to the list of people who would benefit from that upgrade. But, I mean, this is cheap enough that, sure, why don't we go for it? And we'll see if there's anything that was based off that. Yes, we have assault rifle penetration here, which does have one more prerequisite. So as you can see, requires one more assault rifle damage upgrade to unlock. But once we get that, squad bonus of 25% assault rifle damage against armor, shields, and biotic barriers. Kind of like what we just got with the shotguns, although a little less specialized. The shotgun one was specifically against shields, whereas this one is not as much damage, but pretty universally against all types of defenses, other than health, but that's generally the easiest one to deal with. Okay, so that looks good. That's on the weapons side of things. For armor, we also recently picked up damage protection. Squad bonus of 10% to shields, barriers, and armor. That sounds great to me, because that is also fairly cheap, and survivability is important, for sure. Especially because as we start to level up our biotic charge, remember that we can regenerate our shields. If we have more shields, then getting more life back whenever we do that charge, so there is a nice synergy there. So I think we definitely go for this as well. And we can see if there's anything based off that. We do have redundant field generator. This is another one that will require one more damage protection upgrade before we can do it. So sometimes when Shepard shields go down, they are instantly fully restored. I don't know sometimes just how frequently that is without a number on it, so it's a little harder to gauge just how helpful that would be. But we can't do it yet. We need another damage protection upgrade before we can do that. And this is another thing where in some ways you can make the case that it is not as effective on a Vanguard, specifically for us with our biotic charge, because I think this is, first of all, it says when Shepard's shields go down. It looks like this is specific to us and not our squad mates. And because we're a Vanguard and we can get those shields back when we do our charge, we do technically have a way to get our shields back on command. So maybe not as useful in that sense. Of course, there are going to be times when we might not want to charge straight into our opponent. Even if it means getting our shields back might mean put ourselves right in harm's way, and that we're going to have to be mindful of when we're willing to take that risk and when we aren't. So this one we might not be as keen on using, or at least once we are able to do it, still might not do it right off the bat. So that's armor upgrades. Ship enhancements, like I was saying, for the most part here, I think are things that they're, in the case of advanced mineral scanner, nice to have, but definitely not necessary. Ship armor, definitely something we're going to want eventually, although don't think we need it just yet. And then we don't have the platinum. Wow, this is super expensive. To, let's see. Immediately and completely heal our scars. Oh, right, and this is the one we were saying we definitely don't feel the need for that. That's very expensive to get rid of what is just a cosmetic thing. Then for prototypes, starting to get a lot here. Okay. So we were looking recently at armor upgrades at the Citadel, and we were saying how some of them looked decent, but it seemed as though perhaps we had better options at our research facility over here. So for that reason, I think we might be a little bit reluctant to invest in those upgrades on shops, and instead, look at things like this, where we get shields increased by 10%, health increased by 10%. I think the types of armor we were looking at on the Citadel had, like, just shields 10% or just health 10%, so this is 2 or 3 times better than that in some ways. So this does look quite good, and we can afford it. So I'm kind of tempted to go that route, to tell you the truth. Might consider doing that. Otherwise, let's see, we can go for better health, and health regeneration and storm speed, meaning sprinting, with our Collector Chitin armor. But I think we do prefer going a little more with a shield-oriented setup, because again, we care a lot about having a high amount of shields, because we can get them back fairly easily with our charge. So the number of shields, important. The ability to get shields back more quickly, less important, because we already have a way to do that. So that's why this one looks good compared to the other upgrade we were talking about previously, where it doesn't increase the total number of shields, but it just makes it easier to get those shields back. That's not as needed. Let's see, Inferno armor then, negotiation bonus, tech and power, biotic power, damage 10%, so this is more offensively oriented rather than defensively oriented. Tempting, but I think might be getting ourselves in over our heads a little. Of course, if we take people out, then that does help, but probably still prefer the defensive ones. Yeah, so the scanner only, if we take a look at the scanner here, it only increases the speed that we use when we move around on our scanner. It does not affect how many resources we get when we do the scanning, so it is purely quality of life. It is not going to affect our actual return, so for that reason, if you choose to never take this upgrade, you're technically going to spare yourself, 15,000 iridium? So, in some ways, for that reason, it is beneficial if you're willing to have just a slower scanner, then you don't need to collect as many resources. So, it's a matter of personal preference. For some people, I understand that, going through and scanning the planets may be somewhat bothersome, somewhat tedious. I think it's not that bad, and I like to sort of check around and see where we can find the best possible place to place our probe, so I'm not so keen on making this upgrade. If we happen to have a bunch of extra iridium near the end of the game, and we don't have anything else we need to spend it on, then sure, why not? Then again, at that point, are we going to need it? We might be more or less done with scanning, might have already collected all the resources that we need, so we're never going to need to do it anyway. So, it's one of those things where if you find yourself not a huge fan of doing the scanning and you'd like for it to just go as quickly as possible, then that's a way to improve it a bit. So, but other than that, we do have some new weapons that we could pick up here, which, and Mordin's Omni Tool, which we may not have had enough Element Zero to do initially, but we did a fair bit of scanning to get more Element Zero, and we did pick some up in our previous mission, so we're actually well above the necessary amount here, giving Mordin an additional 20% tech power damage. That's fairly significant. Of course, it only affects Mordin, but that is something that I think we'd like to pick up. We'll see. And then this Heavy Bone Weave requires one more Heavy Skin Weave upgrade to unlock, but then Shepard takes 50% less damage from melee attacks. You can make the case that if you're playing well, then hopefully the enemy is never charging you down that much and they don't get the chance to hit you with a melee attack. But then again, remember, we're Vanguard. We're going to be charging in every now and again, and we're going to be right up next to our opponent, so they are going to have the chance every now and again to hit us with a melee attack. So hopefully it's not happening too often, but reducing that damage by 50% would be pretty nice, though we can't make that upgrade just yet. We also need one more heavy weapon upgrade before we can unlock the cane, which is heavy weapon that I am tempted, very tempted to pick up. So that is one that I have my eye on for sure. But of all the armors here, I think this Cerberus one is catching my attention the most. And it's not that expensive. At 5,000, I think this is probably worth picking up here. I think that shield's health bonus, that's going to be helpful to us. And then the heavy weapon ammo, we have not been using our heavy ammo all that much. Of course, in many ways, it's sort of your, not necessarily get out of jail free card, but it's particularly good when you're fighting big bosses and you're having some trouble with them. Then it's useful for that, but at least as of now, we haven't had much need to go that route. But I think, at least for the shields and the health, that's pretty big. Let's go for it. So I do think, however, that means we may need to equip that up at our cabin. Oh, and before we head out, though, let's chat with Mordin, see if there's anything else he wants to say to us.
Shepard, how can I help?
Can we chat?
Have you got a minute to talk?
Yes, would like that, actually. Talked about work earlier. Time with Special Tasks Group studying Genophage. Wasn't entirely honest. Lie of omission. Also, other kinds. Need to clear the air. Mission too important to keep secrets.
Okay.
Work on Genophage was more than just study.
Okay. Go on. What did you do? Sounds like this is headed down a dark path.
What was the Special Task Group doing with the Krogan Genophage?
Study at first, as I said, but uncovered surprising data. Krogan population was increasing at faster rate than expected. Krogan were adapting to Genophage, overcoming disease.
Wow. So remember, Genophage was the engineered disease that the Solarians developed and then the Turians deployed on the Krogan to eat away at some of their genetic material to make it so that they were far less likely to be able to reproduce, because the Krogan, once they were quote-unquote uplifted from their barren wasteland homeworld of Tuchanka, suddenly they were reproducing like crazy and they were basically about to take over the galaxy. And they were colonizing planets that had already had, established civilizations on them. So they were starting to become a problem. And so Genophage got deployed to slow them down, and now the Krogan, in many ways, are a dying species because they can't reproduce as quickly as they need to. Or they're dying more quickly than they can reproduce, because I think it's something like 1 in 1,000 pregnancies are successful. So they are on the downturn for sure. However, according to Mordin here, Krogan were actually able to adapt around the Genophage, but how exactly did that happen?
Did the Krogan evolve, or did some of their scientists develop a treatment?
Krogan scientists? Never met Krogan scientist worthy of term. No. Natural evolution. Krogan physiology incredibly durable. Organ redundancy, backup systems, cellular regeneration. Genophage like any other natural hazard. Krogan evolved past it.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Was that how did it happen? Is that how we got to that line there, or is this go further?
Did the Krogan evolve, or did some of their scientists develop a
Krogan
treatment?
Okay, we heard that.
Krogan Genophage like any other natural hazard. Krogan
So
evolved past it.
that sounds good, in that the Krogan may not be doomed in that case.
The Genophage was a terrible mistake. It nearly destroyed the Krogan and their culture. Now they have a chance to recover.
Naive viewpoint. Krogan too dangerous to allow unchecked.
On the other hand,
Look at Krogan
that's the reason why they deployed the Genophage. They were
Personally
dangerous.
led a science team. Geneticists, chemists, sociologists, mathematicians created new version of Genophage, released it on Tuchanka, other Krogan-centric areas, restabilized Krogan population.
Restabilized, you say? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Distribution of the virus. By restabilized, you mean prevented them from reproducing like crazy and taking over the galaxy, yes, but then presumably means, you know, it is what brought the Genophage to its current stage, in which Krogan are, again, basically a dying species.
How did you distribute the modified Genophage?
Covert drops, hospitals, clan centers, water supplies. Very difficult. Few Solarians on Tuchanka. Team got caught a few times. Had to fight free. Messy. Better when things went as planned.
Okay, well what exactly were the effects of this?
How did your Genophage modification work?
Krogan evolution attached garbage genetic code to Genophage attack sites. Modification created other areas for garbage code to connect. Left sites clean, capable, running smoothly.
So, this all begs the question, was that really the best choice to double down on the Genophage?
You never considered other options?
Hundreds. Thousands. Modified Genophage offered best outcome. Stabilized population, avoided publicity that could incite Krogan anger, averted potential genocide, or devastating war.
But it was
best
genocide.
Solution for whole galaxy. Krogan included.
That doesn't sound like that was quite as clean, as perfect of a solution as you're trying to make it off as if it was. Because, yeah, you say you're trying to avoid genocide in that case. I mean, the Genophage is a prime example of genocide, and then you made it even more extreme than it already was.
The Genophage was a mistake bordering on a war crime. Recreating it is unforgivable.
Don't want me on team? Don't bring me. Can stay here, work on collector research. But no apologies. Did what was right. Hope you do the same if necessary. Should get back to work. Talk more later. Next time tissue synthesis has to compile. Good for free time.
Alright. Some big stuff Mordin's dropping there, apparently. He was, in case you missed it there, he was the one who helped deploy, who was basically seemingly in charge of deploying that enhanced Genophage. So, yeah, well, okay. One could make the case he is more responsible than perhaps anyone else for the current state of the Krogan. But, before we carry on here, we did, of course, make that, or complete that research upgrade for the new armor, and I just want to make sure we have that equipped here. Let's take a look at our weapon locker here, or armor locker rather here, for our armor. Okay, so here we go. So now we have the default one, like this, but we also have the Cerberus Assault Armor, and that does sort of override all the other stuff here, of course, so we were trying to customize our appearance in the way that we thought was preferable, but Cerberus Armor will override all that and make us look like we are from Cerberus. So let's see. Cerberus Assault Armor is designed for shock troops who are expected to turn the tide of battle against creatures or forces that would decimate normal soldiers. The troops demanded 3 things in its design: shields and armor thick enough to last against a superior foe, and a rechargeable pack to extend a heavy weapon power cell. The only drawback of the armor is its weight, which the troops carry as a point of pride. They have a saying: out of shape going in shape coming out. And as we were saying before, the additional heavy weapon ammo capacity, additional shields and health, mostly the shields and health, the reasons why we want to have this. So we should now, let's just confirm, yeah, we should have that as our in-mission armor. Personally, I don't think I like the aesthetics as much of it, but at least from a performance standpoint, it is certainly superior to what we had going on previously. So, let's see. Now I think we head back over to the Combat Information System, Center. And at this stage, we take a look at our journal, or actually, hold on. We did, of course, recently level up here. And so now we have 4 skill points, which is enough for us to invest another point in charge. So I'd say that is probably worth doing here, because of course this is our special, unique ability as Vanguard. And if we look at this, for the next level, we will go and increase the impact force by another 200 newtons. We'll get more shields back as well. At the moment, it was just 50% of our maximum shields we got back, but it'll go up to 75% with this next upgrade. So that's definitely going to be helpful, because again, that question of, you know, sure, if we charge in, we get our shields back, or at least some of our shields back, but if we're right next to all of our dangerous opponents, is that a risk worth taking? Well, if we're getting more shields back when we do it, then it's an easier pill to swallow, so let's definitely go for that. It means we have 1 skill point left over here, and I think at this point we are probably either looking to wait to get charge 4, or we might start to look at getting Shockwave 1 and 2 so that we can unlock Pull, because Pull only becomes available once we reach Shockwave rank 2. Not a huge fan of Shockwave. I think for the most part we have other ways to get crowd control that are preferable to this, or we'll have other squad mates that can do that and fill that role. Whereas Pull is, I think, in many ways just a better version of Shockwave, at least from a crowd control standpoint, and it does also help set up some other combos with other abilities. So Pull is really the thing that we want to be trying to max out more so than Shockwave. So it's just a matter of, do we go full out charge next, or do we try to get to the point where we can get a little bit of Pull happening? So that'll be our next big question. I think when it comes to incendiary ammo, eventually, yes, we will want to try to get this up all the way to 4 for squad ammo there, but it's something that we're going to try to delay this as long as possible and rely on our teammates to provide us with squad ammo so that we can focus on the other abilities first and have our teammates provide more of the passive bonuses that come from the ammo. I think what we want to do here is, why don't we open back up our galaxy map? And so obviously we've done everything in this area here where we had Purgatory, and as you can see here, we were previously at Purgatory right here, and we no longer have the option to go there at all. So as I was saying previously, in many cases, once you've already gone to and completed a mission, you cannot go back to that location. So if you missed anything, that means, well, sorry, but I'm afraid there's no going back, so you missed it for good. So that's why you want to be particularly careful with that stuff, especially on the big missions like those. So we could either carry on exploring other systems in this area, or we could go back to that place where we scanned a planet and got a side quest and had decided at the time that we didn't want to do it just yet, that maybe we wanted to wait a little bit longer. So that could also be an option. I would say maybe we go for these systems while we're in the area, see if we happen to come across anything of interest, and if we have any side quests there, then maybe we'll do those. If not, then we can go back and do that other side quest, or even if we do find things here, we can go back and do that other one as well. So, let's see, why don't we go for Faryar, I suppose? Just do a quick double check. I'm fairly certain we still have 100% of our fuel. We do. We might want to load back up on some probes, though, because we have used a lot of those recently. And what, we get them in chunks of... What was that there? Was that just 10? Yeah, okay, so there we go. So that should make us in pretty good shape here. Let's try this. See how far these systems actually are to us. It's like they're both, well, fairly far, but we should certainly, of course, have enough fuel to get over here. There we go. Okay, so Faryar. Let's see what we have here. Oh, thought I saw something in this asteroid belt for a second there, but we, of course, first and foremost have whatever it is in this outer orbit. Looks like it's all the way on the far side. And we'll just work our way in from there. So this is Antictra, not to be confused with Antarctica. And Antictra, fused metal, is so named because of its spectacular craters. A planet high in various grades of iron oxide, Antictra is regularly pummeled by loose asteroids in the nearby belt between it and Wenrum. The iron melted and fused by the incoming meteors makes for spectacular landscape shots that look alien no matter what part of the galaxy you may be from. However, due to frequent meteor impacts, exploration is considered highly dangerous even to those with advanced kinetic barriers. Sounds like the kind of place that could have some valuable resources. Let's scan it here. It is rich in some kinds of resources. What resources specifically, you ask? Well, iridium looks decent, but I think we may be able to do better than that. If we have anything even higher still. I'm looking for something that is breaking the scale here. Oh, hold on. That's probably the best we've seen thus far for Iridium. And so yeah, what we were talking about before, the whole scanner speed upgrade that we can purchase, just affects how quickly your scanner moves around like this. So, you know, like, to me, it's fine. You know, doesn't really need to be any faster than that. But of course, you know, for quality of life, if you want to have it go a little bit higher or a little bit faster than that, then you can make that upgrade. So this looks like a decent place to throw down a probe for Iridium. Let's go for that.
Probe away.
And, okay, so now the planet only says good. So that's worth noting. That means that, you know, this may have just barely been on the verge of being a quote-unquote rich planet, and now that we've already launched one of those probes, is no longer at that point. It's like, that's pretty solid, that Iridium there. But I think we can still do better. So we might want to call it here, for this planet at least. And let's see, so in Mass Effect 1, sometimes you would encounter hidden things that you could scan in these asteroid belts. I don't recall whether that's the case at all in Mass Effect 2 or not. Let's just do a quick loop around here just in case. We may find something. If not, then of course we'll just head back into the next planet in this system. Because at least as of right now, it looks like coming up empty on the asteroid belt, so let's check out this one over here, which is Wenrum. Wenrum, White Knight, takes its name from a Solarian story in the Romantic period of a knight who refused all temptation to riches, carnality, and even flavorful food until justice was served to the poor and oppressed. The planet is so named because of its white, highly reflective surface composed mainly of titanium dioxide and ice, and no atmosphere to speak of to dim its albedo. Let's scan this. Also, rich. Not really sure what type of resource we're going to expect to find here. Let's see. Again, we're looking for really big sources of... Oh, okay, here we go. It's like that I think, is bigger than anything we were seeing on the previous planet. That's a whole lot. A whole lot.
Launching probe.
Now it only says it's good. So again, that may mean we've gotten the biggest and best source of all that stuff. Like, it's not bad here. But I mean, that's a good frame of reference. So, you know, at times, we've probably been occasionally launching probes at least early on, we might have been launching probes at roughly this level. But, this level of resources. But if a good planet is capable of getting as high as this, imagine what a really good rich planet might have, even higher still. So, that is the reason why, you know, we can be pretty picky when it comes to when and where we choose to use our probes. When we were a little bit aggressive early on, I think, with that stuff. So, you know, we could probably leave this here. Let's see, next planet on the list. Looks like it's over here. This one is Alingon. Alingon, Deceptive, was so named by Solarian scouts because as their probes landed on the planet, their instruments started going awry. This turned out to be due to the high concentration of magnetically active Heraclase, magnesia, in the core and crust of the planet. This interferes with scans and broadcasts, which has given rise to countless spacer stories of pirates lying in the wait in Alingon's magnetosphere, or crash ships with untold fortunes stranded on the surface. In reality, any pirates would have a hard time locating prey amongst all the interference, and would live lives cut off from the rest of the galaxy as the magnetosphere kills extraplanetary communication. Alingon's other natural features are a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide, spectacular dry ice formations, and xenon gas, which can be skimmed from the upper atmosphere and used in ion thrusters. Take a quick look at our scans here, another rich planet. Not sure what to expect from this one, based on those descriptions there. That is a pretty decent source of iridium there. I think we want to try to maximize one of those rather than compromise and getting a little bit of both, because remember, the logarithmic scale means that although this looks like this might be better in total, the fact that the bar goes higher over here, it's probably still means this is more worthwhile, but we may be able to do better still, to tell you the truth. As we were saying in the previous planet, we saw some pretty impressive numbers, pretty impressive heights when we got greedy, and that was on just a good planet, or at least started off rich, and then we pushed further to find even more even after that, and it was pretty solid sources there. I mean, those are good. Those are good. But given how many peaks we've seen at around that height, it does make you wonder. It does make you wonder if we can do a little bit better. We go further south? Like right at the South Pole? Oh. That might be the best we've seen. That might even be the spot we were looking at before. That's pretty solid from an iridium standpoint. Why don't we launch there? Curious to see if it stays rich or if it goes down to a lower rating here. Still says rich. That to me suggests there may be a big deposit somewhere that we've yet to see. It's good. Maybe roughly on par with what we just did, but I'm wondering if there's better still. I'm wondering. What about this one? I don't think that's quite the same peak we were looking at before. And despite this having the rich label, you know, maybe resources are just spread out in such a way there isn't any really good peak remaining. I mean, well, we saw some of it. Like, that's definitely not bad. Maybe if we start getting over there, that might be good enough. Might be good enough. But I'm a little underwhelmed, to tell you the truth. I think given the frequency with which we've been scanning, we might be able to pass on that. Because, as I was saying a little while ago, I was a little bit surprised. I did not remember there being this many planets that are labeled as rich in terms of resources. They are quite numerous. Nephros, Restless Sleep, is a relatively small hydrogen-nitrogen gas giant. Its atmosphere is home to spectacular winds of up to 350 kilometers per hour and electrical storms up to 700 times the power of those on Earth, which indicate that its hydrogen clouds contain moderate amounts of water vapor. This one, just moderate, so definitely not terribly interested in this unless there happens to be a source of element 0, but I don't think we saw anything in the descriptions to suggest that that would be the case. Like, this is a good example of, you know, like, if we find a source. I mean, like, that's okay. But again, because the more levels, the more bars it reaches, the significantly more lucrative the source is. Although that looks decent, in truth, it's not nearly as good as some of the other options we've seen. Hence why that is not a rich planet. Let's try over here. This is Tunfigel? First charted by the Solarians, Tunfigel Hardheart is noted for its platinum and uranium deposits, so we'll have to see if there's a good source of platinum here, making robo-mining a lucrative activity. Of course, the question would be, has it already been mined of all the good stuff, or is there enough remaining for us to still make good use of it? While the surface temperature is well within the range of comfortable EVA excursion, the extremely dense Tunfigel generates a dangerous gravitational pull 5 times that of Earth. The Solarian miners exploiting the planet derisively nicknamed planets such as these L-Core tourist traps, because the L-Core, which we of course saw back in Mass Effect 1, I don't remember if we've seen any L-Core yet in Mass Effect 2, but they come from a home world that has significantly higher gravity than that of many other of the major species, and so for that reason, trap for anyone but the L-Core in this case. Let's see. It is rich, and it was saying platinum was the name of the game here, so I think that's probably the resource we're going to want to keep our eye on here, but I imagine we can do better than this, because this is not really any better than what we've seen in previous places. That's something. It's like borderline as to whether we might want to make a move there. That's not good enough. That doesn't seem good enough either. Hold on. That looks pretty solid, though. That looks good. That's a lot. Iridium, as it turns out. Not platinum, and a tiny bit of palladium as well.
Launching probe.
Didn't check the before and after, but I imagine that was a pretty sizable chunk. Okay, there's a good example. That is scale breaking. That's gotta be just about as good as it gets. So let's take that.
Launching probe.
So it's just under 2,500. So we got like 3,000 from that alone. Still says it's rich. And after seeing that, you know, if you got any more of those hiding around here, then have my attention. But not sure we're gonna get anything on that order of magnitude, because that was pretty sweet. Like, this is still solid. This is probably the one we looked at before. It's borderline as to whether we'd want to make a move there, but oh, hold on. Hold on, we've got more. So this is the type of thing we're ideally looking for. A rich planet that, sure, doesn't just have decent deposits scattered out throughout the planet, but has one or two points where it has one resource that is really high up there. Because remember, that is the ideal setup. So, like, right around here somewhere is best. So let's take a look. It's at 28,000 right now.
Probe launch.
Slightly over that. Last time we got about 3,000 from it. We got slightly under 3,000 that time. Now it says just good. So I think those were some pretty solid sources there. So I like that. Now we got this planet here.
Detected an anomaly.
Oh, anomaly detected. Okay. So though ancient riverbeds crisscross the plains of Daratar, photodissociation has long since dried up the world. There are indications of ancient mining operations, but any structures have long since been buried or worn away by the planet's seasonal dust storms. Okay, so we know we're expecting to find something here.
Suspicious ship detected in planetary orbit. All hands prepare to burn down the house. All hands prepare to burn down the house. Repeat, suspicious ship detected in planetary orbit. All hands prepare to burn down the house. All hands prepare to burn down the house.
Okay, some kind of distress signal here. Also just keeping an eye out for, it seemed like the description was suggesting potentially some, element 0, which is hard to get. And this is, might even be the highest we've ever seen of element 0 thus far, because remember, element 0, for the most part, never shows up on rich planets, so I'm curious to see, at about 17,500. We've got, what was that, like 1,500 element 0? That is good. That's very good. Now, let's launch our probe here. Let's see what this is all about.
Launching probe. I have found something.
Cerberus hotspot detected. The planet Daratar in the Faryar system is a suspected Eclipse smuggling site. Cerberus is interested in obtaining the materials kept at this site. Operatives will be paid handsomely for any intact crates retrieved from the site. Be aware that Eclipse would rather see the cargo destroyed than lose it to a rival organization. Payment will be made once the acquisition of undamaged crates is verified. Ooh, okay. I'm trying to remember. I think I may have the vaguest of memories of this mission. And this one, I think there is a special little wrinkle to it where, yes, there is in fact an aspect to it where we are trying to recover these crates, and depending on how successful we are with that, we may recover any of a number, or potentially even 0 of them, and our reward may be based on how many of them we do successfully recover. So that does mean that since, you know, our reward would be better if we are stronger and capable of doing this more efficiently and effectively, might be best for us to wait before we do this one. We should now have a journal entry for it, but I'm thinking that, you know, if we're talking about prioritizing our side quests here, and of course this being one that we just added to the list, one that we discovered previously might be preferable. Again, this is just based on my memory of having played Mass Effect 2, 7-8 years ago at this point, but that may be the case. And now, as you can see here, recover smuggled cargo. We do have the journal entry for it, so we now know that this exists, and we can come back here on a future occasion when we feel like we are perhaps a little more prepared. We could do it now. We could, but I feel like we'd just be perhaps significantly more effective at doing it if we wait a little bit longer when we are a little bit stronger.